Measurement of intelligence Binet-Simon scale. American psychologist Levin Terman developed an American version of Binet's test that became known as the Stanford Binet Intelligence Test. The Stanford Binet is a measure of general intelligence made up of a wide variety of tasks including vocabulary, repeating sentences, memory for pictures, following commands, name of familiar objects. The Stanford Binet scale is an independently administered intelligence measure designed to assess cognitive capacity and intelligence in young children and adults and diagnosis developmental or intellectual disabilities. For the age group of 2 to 85 plus, it is applicable. An adapted variant of the Binet-Simon intelligence scale developed by the French psychologist Alfred Binet and his student Theodore Simon is the Stanford Binet. It was a way of recognizing mentally disabled children. Binet claimed that intelligence is the malleable and that intelligence assessments would encourage target children to advance their intelligence in need of extra care. Binet and Simon first developed a baseline of intelligence to construct their test by evaluating a wide variety of children on a broad spectrum of measures to find a consistent intelligence predictor. Failing to find a single intelligence identifier, Binet and Simon compared kids by age in of group instead. The highest level of accomplishment for children were sorted by age and typically level of achievement were considered the stand level for that age. Lewis M. Terman, a psychologist at Stanford University, developed a variation of the measure for individuals in the United States, calling the localized version of the Stanford Binet Intelligence Scale. He used the test to help classify children with learning disabilities and locate children and adults who had intelligence level above average. Meanwhile, William Stem, a German psychologist, developed the now well-known intelligence quotient, a ratio to display their mental development rate as IQ is generated by comparing the age a child scored at to their biological age, with the adjustment to multiply the ratio by 100 to make them easier to read. Terman quickly grasped his Stanford revision idea. Many psychologists revised the scale from 1908 to 1939, but Terman's 1916 revision was most important. In 1908, Henry H. Goddard published an English translation of the 1905 Binet-Simon scale, and a revised edition of the 1908 Binet-Simon scale was published in 1911. Coleman made other revisions in this use in 1912 and 1939. All 1915 and 1923 Yarkers and J.P. 1922's hearing. Stanford Binet Intelligence Scale Timeline. Stanford Binet First Edition by Terman, 1916. More than one third of the items were new and the entire scale was standardized on an American sample of 1,400 people. Most important aspect was that the concept of IQ was first time introduced in a psychologist test. Intelligence quotient IQ equals mental age by chronological age into 100. Revisions of Stanford Binet Intelligence Scale. Stanford Binet Second Edition by Terman and Merrill, 1937. Terman along with Merrill revised the SB1 which with commonly known as Binet 1937. These revisions composed of two parallel equivalent forms L and M which provided a better sampling of populations and abilities. This edition was better standardized and better validated Then the 1916 revisions and also extended the upper and lower range. This test used a border of upper and lower ability level. Stanford Binet third edition by Merrill 1972. Therefore, the 1916 Binet consisted of a single form in which it preserves test items from both L and M models, called the LM form. About and how is needed in its administration and has a range from mental age scores of 2 years to mental score of 22 years and 11 months. Although it introduced new features, this revision did not include any newly created product from the 1937 from any product that displayed no noticeable improvement in complexity were either omitted or changed. Stanford Binet third edition by Merrill. Test items are in the form of phrases, objects, and photographs, and the answers is given in the form of drawing, measuring, writing, and speaking by the test takers. By replacing ratio IQ, the deviation IQ made its first appearance in its third edition. By 1972, the 1916 revision has been corrected for use by a new standardization group consisting of a representative sample of 2,100 children. One fundamental characteristic of the 1972 standards was that, unlike all previous standards, it included non-whites. Stanford Binet 4th edition by Thorndike, Hagen and Sutter 1986. This revision is the most comprehensive since the key advantages of the previous editions were preserved, as individually administered assessment and on the other hand, the intervening advance in both theoretical conceptualizations of intelligence functions and test design methods reflect. The revision incorporates the GFGC intelligence principle. This version spans the ages of 2 to 23 and instead of using the previous age scale format, was the first to use the 15 subtests with point scale. The fourth version is known for testing kits that can be referred to for gifted programs. It contains a wide variety of skills that are more difficult for those in their early teenagers years. Stimulatingly, other intelligence assessments of the time did not include enough difficult things for all children. Stanford Binet 5th editions by Roy 2003. Among 4,800 respondents, the creator of screened fairness are based on age, race, ethnicity, disability, and religious beliefs. SB5 is appropriate for the measurement of intelligence for children aged 85 and older adults. SB5 uses a routing techniques to estimate the examinee's general cognitive capacity. The goal is to define a appropriate starting points of subsequent subtests and routing items to both verbal and non-verbal. Stanford Binet 5th edition. 5 variables linked explicitly to the hierarchical model of cognitive abilities of Cartlell Horn Carlow CHC are included. Administration can vary from 5 minutes to 1 hour and 5 minutes, depending on age and experiences, due to the small mean differences in the reliability. Re-administration of the SB5 can occur in 6-month interval rather than a year. Existing use for the test include the psychiatric and neuropsychological assessment, placement in the school, evaluation of compensation, job evaluation, neuropsychological treatment of adults, phonics and aptitude study.